Hi, and a very warm welcome to Wellbeing Mission Control. I'm Greg Parry. And one of the questions that's popped up in some of the recent correspondence is this issue about whether it's really possible to boost cognitive function. Can we somehow become smarter? Now, I know there are so many adverts on all sorts of internet sites promising miracles in terms of being able to boost your mental capacity, improve cognitive function. But outside all the hype and some of the more ridiculous claims in those ads, there are ways that you can improve your cognitive function. Let's take a look at some conventional and some surprising ways that you might be able to improve the way that your mind functions. First of all, one of my favorite themes, you need to make sure you're getting enough rest. You really need to make sure you've got plenty of sleep and the right quality of sleep to go to bed at a regular time so that you wake up feeling refreshed. Sobering thought is that being tired when you get behind the wheel of your car is more likely to produce an accident than still having alcohol in your blood system, because there are more accidents from fatigue than from drugs and alcohol combined. It's quite a sobering thought. You're exhausted, but you're still free to get into a car. We need to do something about that. And having adequate rest and sleep is a key ingredient, not just for your health and your well-being, but in order to be able to function efficiently and get your mind to work the way that nature intended. Good nutrition makes a difference, making sure that you've got a natural supply of food, making sure that you have got the requisite nutrients to make sure your brain gets all the fuel it requires. Whilst we're on that subject, it's very, very helpful for you to get regular exercise. It seems to have a direct impact on the quality of our cognitive function. But there's something I wanted to touch on that you might find a little bit interesting, maybe even intriguing. I've been advocating the advantages of meditation because it's just such a great way for you to introduce a deeper sense of calm, inner peace, creating a stable foundation, and that really can help to lower stress, lower tension. And these are really critical factors for improving cognitive function. But whilst you're meditating, let's accept that we become more suggestible. It's almost like getting into a hypnotic state. And who better to make positive recommendations for how you want to think and feel than you? So while you're meditating, you might consider gently dropping positive suggestions into your meditative state and telling yourself that you will easily recollect details and information. Let's just take a step back. Your subconscious mind is recording and holding an unbelievable amount of data. So all the things that you've read and seen and experienced are still stored in the subconscious. Being able to access that data could be very, very useful. When you begin to suggest to yourself that that access is easy, for reasons we don't fully understand, we can trigger an access between the subconscious and the conscious where you just start to remember things. Your memory seems to get better. I hope you find that deeply reassuring. But you could also make other subtle suggestions that you can find the answers to problems much more easily than you have in the past. In other words, you can start to craft a simple set of suggestions that encourage enhanced cognitive efficiency. In other words, you're just looking for shortcuts within the cerebral structure to make sure that it's working as efficiently as possible. Does it sound far-fetched? Well, I have to share with you the fact that these ideas have an ancient lineage. We should remember that there are plenty of traditions which encouraged fairly young children to be able to remember something like 10,000 lines of poetry before they had access to writing. We know this is the case. How is that possible? Well, clearly they had methods of instruction which enabled people to be able to remember extraordinary amounts of information. Now, you don't need to remember 10,000 lines of poetry, but by suggesting to yourself that you can think clearly, that you have the creative ability to resolve problems and find creative answers, this could be a huge advantage. And it can almost become a habit, to the extent that when you're facing a challenge, rather than tensing up and thinking, oh my goodness, how do I fix this? You stop, you breathe, you relax, and you think, yeah, I can fix this. And there's something in that positive attitude which seems to enhance cognitive function. We are a very creative species. All we're suggesting is that you push the right buttons to access more of that potential creativity to make your life so much easier. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Something you might want to experiment with. It certainly helped my memory a long time ago when I began to record in my mind things like a shopping list rather than write it down. And I just increased the number of items I could remember until I didn't need a list. It's a trivial example of what we can all do to improve this particular faculty, not just memory, but analysis, and just seeing things in a broader scope to be a little bit more creative. It's a huge pleasure to have communication with you. And thank you so much for sharing your ideas and experiences with me and for making suggestions about areas that we might want to discuss. I'll be back with you very soon, but in the meantime, as you boost your cognitive function, allow me to wish you a wonderful day.